So when you took this model to the microfinance institutions in Pakistan, what was their reaction? How did they take it?
Initially, very honestly, they were a little apprehensive because they thought maybe it's, as I said, traditionally it's more of a personal contact where credit officer makes a judgment, then they have branch manager visiting the client. So it's a lot more intuitive in terms of how credit officer evaluates you as an individual and as a business.
Right.
So they were not very confident that it would help. But as we gave them examples from around the world, how technology and data has helped organization grow and accelerate, expand their work. So once they started feeding in data, because then we worked with them in designing the model itself. There was an expert model, but then that was shared with MFIs. So they were able to then suggest changes in the model itself. So all their experience and knowledge of evaluating a business, what do they look at, what do they look at in the person that they're lending to, how do they look at business inventories, if they're lending for crop, how do they see the land fertility in the area, the average yields, and so all those sort of elements from their experience started to feed into that system.
Excellent.
So that gave them confidence that at least it's not something that's alien to them, that's being brought out from the outside, something that they are contributing in development of. So that gave them confidence. Then they, in the initial stage, did the trial runs, where they put in the past data, the application forms that of clients, and then based on the scores that came out, they were able to then compare it with the actual results that they had from their systems. So that gave them confidence. So right now, there are about 5 organizations that are testing this model.
Okay.
And they're feeding in data. And once we have that final product refined and available for scale up in November, we see this product taken up by the sector at large, and it will be commercially available. So right now.
So far there are 5 institutions who've already adapted this model, and they're taking things forward. Yeah. Any success stories so far? Anything that you would want to highlight through this platform? What you have seen with those 5 institutions?
I mean, as I said, once they tested this, the results that came out, almost 90-95% matched the experience and the results that they have had. So they could see that once this data is used, there isn't much deviation from their actual experiences with those clients. It was very close to the actual results. If the model predicted difficulties in collection from those clients, they actually had those difficulties.
I see.
If they say that it would be a smooth sort of business with that customer, they'd seen that there were no delinquencies or delays in the past with that client. So right now, as I said, it's primarily built on the past data. Now these organizations are putting in new applications of individuals that are applying for them. So the results will come out in the next couple of months, and we'll have a lot more to show. So right now, as I said, it's about 5 organizations working with this. Once they are satisfied, because we're integrating that not just with so we're now looking at a more holistic credit decisioning engine. So it is integrated with Credit Bureau.
Okay.
It's fetching information from NADRA on various. So all the KYC requirements that it's already part of it. So all of these combined with other services that's part of the suite that we're looking at. So once that's available, I think we'll clearly see a lot more acceptability within organizations for such models, and there will be new organizations that have already started looking at it, actually enrolling themselves and using it commercially, because that's what we're looking at. We spent money in development, that's the sort of investment that we did, but our aim is to make it commercially viable, because that's how we'll make sure that it continues to serve the sector.
Right. And what steps are you taking to avoid biasness in the entire system? I mean, we have heard stories about biasness, about loans and loan disbursements and stuff. So what are you doing to avoid this biasness in the system?
That's what Babar, important is that there isn't data coming in from one organization. It's from different organizations.
Right. So you have FBR, you have NADRA.
There's
State
NADRA,
Bank.
there is Credit Bureau. Then it is housed with a Credit Bureau. So they have data from commercial banks also available. Then within the microfinance, it's not just one organization that's pooling in. There are probably at the end of the day, it will be around 20-25 organizations pooling in data in that.
Right.
So that takes away whatever bias one particular organization or one experience of an organization lending to, let's say, for crops in Rajanpur, where we see floods coming through every year now. So if there are challenges with crop lending in Rajanpur, it could be then matched against probably lending to crops in Gujranwala or in other areas where there isn't that sort of vulnerability. Similarly, one organization's having problem with collaterals, gold-backed lending. They had challenges with that, but then it is being offset by an organization in other area where there are some that sort of anomaly coming through. So the mix of organizations, the diversity in the business segments that they're lending to, sort of client demographics, businesses, that would take care of the biasness that one particular sort of organization or one particular business segment would have with
Wonderful.
one sort of data set coming through.
Wonderful.